over here so I can keep an eye on it. Nerd
right.
Cave Retro.
Twitch is going. Let me make sure the Twitch. Is it frozen for you too? Going. Let me make sure the. All right, it looks good.
We're
going out at 720p, baby.
Hell yeah. We're fancy tonight.
Oh, fancy.
All right. Jason will be reviewing Comix with an X Zone.
Yep.
For Sega Genesis.
You may have to keep an eye on the chat room tonight because mine, it keeps freezing up on me.
Yeah, that's fine.
When I get the new computer, all I'm going to do is record and stream from the big computer. Everything else I'm going to do from the laptop. So that should take a lot of strain off the big computer.
That's smart.
I heard about a new browser today, and now I can't remember the name of it. I have to go back and listen. It's from Windows, but it works on Mac, and it uses a lot less CPU, but it uses, you can use your Google Chrome plugins. So I'm thinking about using it and trying it out. Now I have to go back and look up the name of it. It's a brand new search engine that Windows just came out with.
That actually sounds awesome.
Yeah, from what I hear, it takes up a lot less CPU than Chrome does. Chrome is a hog, man.
Yeah, that's why I love using Safari.
Yeah, I mean, I would use Safari, but it always seems like it never keeps my passwords for some reason. And always have to log back into everything.
Yeah. Before we start, let me make one little adjustment. So normally I can hear you through my Zoom the way I have it hooked up so I can record on my end, but for some reason I wasn't getting audio earlier. So let me try something real quick.
Okay. You just had it a minute ago.
I thought I did, but I ain't worried about it. I don't know.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear you for some reason.
Hello, test 1, 2, 3. Testing. Can you hear me? Lord Vader, can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. For some reason, that's not working the way it normally does.
What are you trying to do? Go through?
Well, it's so I can record it on my end just in case something happens, but
okay, whatever
for some
you did,
reason,
it just froze you up for a minute.
Weird. All right. I'm just not going to touch anything. All right. All right, I've got all my tabs open, so I am ready to start when you are.
Yep. Let me make sure my levels are. I forgot to check my levels. Come on. All right, my soundboard's a little slow tonight, but hopefully it'll catch back up.
By the way, playing sound clips during podcasts it's like the most amazing thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Now that I know how to do it.
Oh, did you get the soundboard?
I had to bring the clips directly into OBS, and I just set them as hotkeys. For some reason, I haven't figured out how to use. Like, I know how to set hotkeys in the soundboard.
Yeah.
But I haven't figured out how to play them through OBS because it wouldn't for me.
Actually, you may need. I run mine through Soundflower. Like I have everything running through Soundflower.
Okay, I don't have Soundflower.
Yeah,
so.
You need to get that for your Mac. That's a must-have for podcasting on a Mac. Soundflower is a must. And you have Audio Hijack, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. That's It's $40, but it is probably the best $40 you will ever spend to record with, like, because it's so easy to use.
Okay.
I can send you a snapshot of how mine's set up too if you need me to.
Yeah, no, that would definitely help. Because I think whenever I do live shows, I think that's how I'm going to want to record the audio.
Yeah, it's easy. It's so freaking easy, especially for Mac. Like it's the best sound like audio recording app for the Mac, hands down.
Yeah.
But I'm good to go if you are.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this. In 3, 2, 1. Do you like the show and you want to help support us? Do you want us to stay ad-free? Do you want extra episodes every month? Of course you do. Then head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro and become a Patreon supporter of this very show. Greetings, programs, and welcome back to another edition of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
So, how has your week been? I know it's been interesting.
To say that I've been burning the candle at both ends might be pretty accurate. So it's, for the most part, been for fun reasons. So Saturday and Sunday, I had the chance to work on a film set for a short film called The Referral.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to ask you. How did that go?
Oh, it was great. Believe it or not, neither day went very long.
Oh, yeah?
So day one, we filmed at a resort in Destin, which is like an hour and a half from my house. We started around, I think, 10 a.m., got there around 8, and then I was home by 8:30 at night,
Nice.
which was really surprising. And yeah, I had the chance to work directly with Kevin Almodovar, who we've praised immensely on the show. He filmed both Survey and the Parker Syndrome, so I got to help him out a lot, helping set up lights, grab gear for him, help him out with his camera a little bit. And then Sunday we filmed in Fort Walton Beach at, Nick Smith, right?
Know the name. I probably know him.
He's a local filmmaker and whatnot. He's originally from England, actually. He was a producer on the film. He let us use his garage for the last scene, and I was home by 2:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
So it was really fun set. I actually got to be an extra for one of the scenes, so I'll
nice.
be officially making my acting debut. And the funny thing was, so the end of the film, it basically takes place at a restaurant for an engagement party. So, I have like a button-up shirt, jeans and whatnot, and they stick me in the very back. And we're about to start, and I hear Kevin say, "Where's Derek?" And he looks, he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot you were in the scene. Hey, can you set up a light for me real quick?"
Of course.
So I like to think of myself as the best dressed AC that Kevin has ever had.
Yeah.
But other than that, work's been really busy. Had to actually work late yesterday. And then I did 2 podcast interviews right before we started this show. I actually did those at work because one was at like 5:15. So I had to rush home, get everything set up, and now we're here doing the show. And last night, we're recording this Wednesday night. I actually got to do a really fun live show on Facebook Live where I listed my top 10 movies of 2019. So
Oh, yeah.
had a good turnout and a lot of good conversation and everything. So I think the live thing might be something that I look to do at least monthly, because it was a lot of fun. If I can come up with consistent topics, it might be something I do, more regularly from here on out.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm sorry it took me so long to get there.
No worries.
Life is busy these days.
Oh, that it is.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, we both had shows in New Orleans this weekend, so we made a full day out of it on Saturday. And then Sunday, pretty much just didn't leave the house. Like, it just became a vampire. Just closed the shutters and just stayed in the dark all day. And I played the game I'm reviewing tonight. Pretty much played most of the afternoon and did some more comedy Monday night. And I got some more comedy coming up this weekend for the Touch Biloxi birthday bash at the Wayward Kraken this Saturday night at 6 p.m. If anybody's in the local area, head over to the Wayward Kraken at 6 o'clock. There's going to be comedians up first. And we're going to do a couple sets of comedians for like an hour and a half, I think. And then after that, there's like a bunch of bands that are playing. So it's going to be a pretty sweet night.
Will award-winning comedy writer Wally Phelps be in attendance?
Oh, he will be in attendance.
No, that actually
yeah.
sounds really cool. Funny enough, this is going to be the last free weekend that I have for a while because I'll be out of town for part of next weekend. Then I'll be out of town all weekend the following week.
Yeah.
I'll have work the following weekend. And then I think right after that is Pensacon.
Yeah, I forgot about Pensacon. Jeez.
Yeah, that's coming up very quickly.
Applied for my media passes the other day, so I'm still waiting to hear if I get media passes again this year, which we should. I mean, we're doing panels and everything. I should get my passes.
I did get the I don't know if we can officially announce it, but I'm going to do it anyway. We did get approved for a panel for this show, the sequel to Defending Bad Movies,
yes.
which I'm calling Defending Bad Movies 2: The Revenge.
Yes.
And we're also going to be doing a panel about the Star Wars sequel trilogy. So if you didn't get enough Star Wars content from my show last month, you're going to get more.
Oh, you should call it Defending Bad Movies 2: The Revenge, in quotations, this time it's personal.
This time
it's
personal.
In a world.
In a world where all movies suck.
Yes. Actually, we should do, and we could record a commercial for it. And I could do the voice. Do the, what was that? Don LaFontaine or whatever his name was. He used to do the movie trailers.
I think you should just do it as Vilker from Survey.
Let's see. In a world where 4 podcasters
that's awesome.
have to defend bad movies.
You record it, I'll add the music.
I like it.
We'll make it happen. But no, Pensacon will be a fun time. And like I said, it's before we know it, it's going to be Pensacon weekend. It's just insane. This year's already flying by. We're almost at the end of January.
I know. The Vilker voice hurts me these days. I can't do it without going into a coughing fit. That hurts.
Just hope you don't get asked to do a feature.
Oh, I know. Well, actually, I would like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be awesome. But on that note, let's go ahead and move into the news for this week, shall we?
Yes.
As of yesterday, and this comes from NintendoLife.com, Super Smash Bros. Turned 21 years old on Tuesday, that was yesterday, the 20th, I think it was, no, 21st. Let's see, on 21st of January 1999, the original Super Smash Bros. Was released for the Nintendo 64 in Japan. Over the last 21 years, it has become one of the most celebrated, adored, and hype-inducing series on Nintendo's platforms. It was developed by HAL Laboratory and published by Nintendo. It gathered a cast of Nintendo All-Stars into one game, pitting them against each other to do battle and whack each other off the stage. The original game had 12 characters to choose from: Captain Falcon, Donkey Kong, Fox, Jigglypuff, Kirby, Link, Luigi, Mario, Ness, Pikachu, Samus, and Yoshi. And at the time, that seemed like a lot, but now we're up to over 80.
80 and counting.
Yes. What are they just announced some the other day. What was...
Stand by. I will Google that real quick.
It's Kingdom something. It's one of those Japanese, long-running Japanese Nintendo properties that hasn't really caught on in America. Now I can't remember what it was called.
let's see. Um, it should be. Well, I do want to address this real quick. I don't know if you heard the rumor, but there could be one more character announced.
This week?
Not this week. It would probably be sometime in the spring at the absolute earliest, but it could be Crash Bandicoot.
Really?
Which, I mean, the fact that they threw in Banjo Kazooie tells me that most things are possible.
I mean, it makes sense. Why not? Because he did try to take on, you know, Mario and Sonic back in the day and that ad campaign.
Now, if that happens, the reveal trailer has to include Mario and Sonic,
Oh yeah.
and have the three of them have their first ever face to face in a game. Like that would be sick.
I love it.
Like it needs to happen. I mean, and honestly, why not?
Yeah, why
Why
not?
not?
Nintendo's got the
Uh,
money for the license. Why not?
the new character was Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses,
That's it. Fire Emblem. I was trying to remember. I knew it was something like that, but I couldn't quite remember it.
which is what Marth and Roy, who were introduced in Smash Brothers Melee, came from. Because those games were never released in the States. Like it
Yeah.
was pretty much a Japanese exclusive, but the characters were so popular because they were going to be Japanese exclusive,
Yeah.
but they luckily they left it in the US version because Roy was one of my go-to characters from that game. But
Oh yeah.
I've praised this series ever since we've really started this show. I played the original religiously when it came out because it was a Nintendo fan's dream
Oh yeah.
to have Mario, Luigi, Link, Fox, Samus, all these characters in one, and to see what it's become. It's got to be up there as far as a successful fighting franchises with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter easily.
Oh yeah. Way up there.
And it's people are still kind of divided on Nintendo, but one thing that everybody can agree on is that Smash Brothers is fantastic, and really none of the games have been terrible.
Oh yeah.
Even the one for the Wii U that no one played because no one owned that console was still fun.
I mean, it's a testament to the game that the the champ like the what do they call it? Like the most of they're still using what was the one that came out on
Melee
GameCube?
in fighting tournaments.
Yeah, fighting terms. But which one was that? Was that Brawl?
That was the one for no, that was Melee for the
Melee.
GameCube.
That's right. Yeah, they're still using that for like professional tournaments.
And I would still say that's probably the best overall, but the new one, Ultimate, is a close second.
Yeah,
Mostly because they improved the mechanics from Brawl and the Wii U version,
I'm telling you.
and just the fact. Go ahead.
Make my prediction now. I've said this before. I think Nintendo is going to lead the way in the VR space for the next go round, and we're gonna get a Super Smash Brothers in VR.
That could be dangerous.
I'm telling you, mark my words. It's gonna be Nintendo. Nintendo's gonna crack the code for VR.
It wouldn't surprise me because they try to be innovative with all their consoles. I mean, look at the Switch,
Yep.
and people love it. So I think if any company is to lead the charge with VR, it's got to be Nintendo.
Absolutely.
But speaking of Nintendo, our next story comes to us from NintendoEnthusiast.com. Nintendo shares 2020 release schedule for 20 plus Switch games. While Nintendo fans around the world desperately count down the days until a new Nintendo Direct comes along, sharing info about new and surprising Nintendo projects for the upcoming year, the beloved Japanese game company has decided to remind us some of the games coming out this year that they've previously shared with us. And thanks to a new infographic published by Nintendo, we've got to look at over 20 upcoming Switch releases that will be dropping sometime in 2020. Some that I'll throw out there: Devil May Cry comes out February 20th. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team March 6th. The new Animal Crossing, which I know got delayed, comes out March 20th. Trials of Mana April 24th. The expansion pass for Pokemon Sword and Shield comes out in June of 2020, and I believe another one in autumn of 2020. We have Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which I remember playing that for the GameCube. This actually might be really cool. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker
I
Saga.
know. I was looking at that. Also, they have Doom Eternal coming too.
Yes. So some good stuff to look forward to in 2020. I think I've told this story before, but the one Xbox game that I got all the achievements for was Lego Star Wars: The Complete
Oh
Saga.
yeah.
I will probably be embarrassed to say the amount of hours I put into that game. But the Lego games are great.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they're silly, over the top fun games that you just shut your brain off and you have fun.
So if it's Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, is it going to go all the way from episode 1 to episode 9?
I believe so.
Sweet. That's a
I'm
definite pickup for me.
Oh, absolutely. I will get that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, I'm getting that day one.
I think, we should be getting close to a new Nintendo Direct. I feel like
Yeah.
we haven't had a generic one in a while. Like we've had specialty ones, but one that just announces upcoming games in general. I don't think we've gotten one of those in a
I
while.
think the next Nintendo Direct we're gonna get a Metroid announcement. I have a feeling
Yeah, that's a good call. I would agree with that.
because I mean, as good as these games are, they've got coming out this year. There's still not like a big Nintendo release. I mean, other than Animal Crossing, they don't really have anything coming out later in the year for the holiday season, and I think Metroid's going to be it.
Yeah.
I think so. That's my
Yeah.
prediction.
Let's hope that happens.
Let's see. For our next story from GamesRadar.com, Sega has promised new Sonic the Hedgehog announcements every month in 2020. Sonic 2020, a new project from Sega, will see a steady stream of Sonic-related news released once a month, every month, throughout the year, starting in February. They announced the project yesterday, stating that Sonic 2020 will deliver various new information and projects related to Sonic on the 20th of each month up until December, building momentum to the Hedgehog's upcoming 30th anniversary year in 2021. A dedicated website for Sonic 2020 is already live, featuring new key art, Twitter avatars, and phone wallpapers featuring the Blue Blur himself. Sega also revealed that it's recruiting fan artists to develop new promotional Sonic material this year, though hasn't yet revealed how artists are able to pitch their creations for potential consideration. Let's see. Isn't the Sonic movie supposed to be coming out in February?
Yeah, it's right around the corner. Less than a month.
Why have we not seen any like trailers or promotion or?
There's been some stuff on Twitter, you just have to know where to look.
Yeah, but it should be like in my face.
Oh, I know. I totally agree with that. No, I actually saw a new commercial because they had leaked the Baby Sonic commercial a month or two ago.
Hmm.
Well, they finally released it in English. I saw that actually on Twitter today. But I mean, I don't really watch normal TV, so I couldn't tell you if there are commercials on
Hmm.
basic cable or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's crazy because I'm actually kind of excited for it.
I know. After that last trailer, I was like, this actually looks like something I want to watch. So I was hoping we would get at least one more trailer before the movie comes out. And here it is. We're like, what, 3 weeks away? And no new trailer? No TV
There's still a little
spots?
there's still a little bit of time.
Yeah,
I think we might see an increase in that in the next week or so.
I hope so.
But can you believe next year Sonic's going to be 30 years
I
old?
know. Don't remind me.
I mean, I'm right. I'm right there with you. I remember playing the original Sonic game. It's nuts. I remember it being crazy when Sonic Adventure 2 came out for the Dreamcast that coincided with Sonic's 10-year anniversary. And I remember getting it was like this little exclusive bonus pack you could get with the game that had a Sonic coin and a CD with select tracks from the various games. I might still have that somewhere at my parents' house, but Um, yeah, it's nuts, and I think it's cool that they're actually gonna make his 30th anniversary a big deal because I feel like they missed the boat on his 20th anniversary because
Yeah.
I don't remember a single thing from it, so that should tell you how memorable it was.
Well,
But
30th anniversary, if they don't come out with a new game, they're really missing an opportunity.
I think they will because they hinted that the next game was going to be in the style of Sonic Mania,
Oh,
which I think is the right route to go because Sonic Mania was fantastic.
it's a good idea.
So we'll see what happens. I'm something I'm very curious about in this movie. We have not seen any type of reference to any of the Sonic characters besides Sonic and Robotnik.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we're gonna get like a Tails cameo or a
Hmm.
Knuckles cameo because it there are portions of the trailers you can tell that it takes place on Sonic's planet. And no one's been talking about it since, but that very first trailer, the one with the awful design on it,
Hmm.
at the very end, you see Jim Carrey looking like the traditional Robotnik with the bald head and the giant mustache.
Yeah.
And you see giant mushrooms in the background. So I still will stand by the prediction that he'll follow Sonic to his world,
Yeah.
and the process of that will alter his appearance.
I'll. Yeah, I agree with that. I just wish we could see one more trailer before it comes out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But who knows? Maybe we'll get one in the next week or so.
Yeah.
And kind of going along with Sonic, our last story comes to us from GameRant.com. Nintendo versus Sega Console Wars movie premieres in March. I remember hearing about this a long time
Yeah.
ago and have heard nothing about it since, so this is actually exciting. A new movie about the console wars between Sega and Nintendo called Console Wars will be premiering at the South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin, Texas this March. Seth Rogen is the executive producer, and the directors are Jonah Tulis and Blake J. Harris, who wrote the original novel. Excuse me. Once the film is released, CBS All Access will have streaming rights and is also producing a series based on the book. The story follows Tom Kalinske, the former CEO of video game company Sega of America, and through a series of interviews discusses the history of the competition between Sega and Nintendo during the 1990s, as well as the conflict that took place.
I'm
I'm
excited to see
actually,
this.
I am too because it was a real thing back then. And granted, I was only a kid when it happened, but I still remember the competition between Nintendo and Sega. You
Hmm.
had those who would only play Nintendo games. You would have those who would only play Sega games.
Yep.
It was a real thing, and I wish we had that same feeling because like it happened kind of early on when the Xbox came out.
Yeah.
You had it was pretty much Xbox versus PlayStation,
And it still
and
kind of is, but not to
yeah,
the extent it was back then. I mean, you remember the Sega ad campaign, Sega does what Nintendo don't. Like
yep,
that whole ad campaign, like they were cutthroat with one another.
mm-hmm. You couldn't do that today because it
Nah.
would just get ripped apart on social media.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I would tell people there are two types of gamers: those who like Nintendo and those that are wrong.
Yeah. I was that kid too.
But no,
I
I'm
was such
actually
a
really
Nintendo
excited about this.
I was
And
such a Nintendo nerd as a kid. Like you couldn't pry me away from Nintendo.
same. And it's cool that CBS is actually going to stream it, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think is really cool. And that actually reminds me, Picard premieres this week,
I know. I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
or as the villains in Star Trek TNG called him, Picard.
Jean-Luc Pickard.
Who's this Pickard fella?
Who's this Pickard guy?
He's a jerk.
On that note, let's go ahead and move into this month in video game history. Go take a number two, number one. On January of 1976, Sega releases Heavyweight Champ, the first video game to feature hand-to-hand fighting. It uses controls that simulate throwing actual punches. Let me
Talk about early VR.
take a look at this thing here. Ooh, this
Let's
looks
see.
cool.
Yeah,
Let's see. It was
the
released in
actual gameplay. Hmm. Go ahead.
1976. Damn.
And then it was remade the following year in September of 1987.
Wow. Sega
Yeah,
reused it when they released the Sega Master System version of James Buster Douglas Knockout Boxing outside of North America. It was not received well. Yeah, it looks kind of. I don't know about these graphics, man. They look a little, kind of ugly.
the I'll be polite and say they're a product of their time.
Yeah. Well, that was the 1976 game. It doesn't show any um it doesn't show any screenshots of the 87 version.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does on the console here. The console itself looks kind of cool, but
The
it's kind of
console, like from what you can tell, it looks a little bit like Punch Out.
yeah, it does. Well, well,
Interesting.
well.
Let's see. In January of 1977, RCA Corporation releases the Studio 2 video game console.
Ooh, let's see what this bad boy looks like.
Studio 2.
And there's no pictures. Oh wait, there is a picture. No, that's the Magnavox Odyssey.
It looks basically like it has two phone digit pads on each side. You have to click. You have to click directly on Studio 2,
Okay,
and then open link.
yeah, let me back up here. Studio 2. There we go. Ah, here we go. That is butt ass ugly, is what that is. What is that?
It's the RCA Studio 2 home TV programmer.
Ugh, that is that is not
I just
aesthetically pleasing at all.
RCA just to me screams a bygone era of
Yeah,
technology.
it was
What
a
I think of when I think of RCA, I think of the VHS tapes that I used to buy to record
yeah.
marathon episodes of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
It was $149 when it was released on January 1977, equivalent to $628.65 today. No
No,
thanks.
I
I
will
shall
just simply
pass.
say no.
No, thank you. Let's see.
No.
January of 1982, Sega releases Zaxxon, which we have covered this many times, which introduces isometric graphics and looks far more 3D than any other raster game at the time.
I think it still looks good.
Yeah, I love that font.
I know the poster is really trippy,
Yeah.
and I kind of dig that. But yeah, I know we've definitely talked about this before. But the screenshot, like it looks, this game came out in 1982, but still looks great. Like this type of graphic style still holds up to me
Kind of looks a lot like Captain Skyhawk, the game I played a couple of months
a
back.
little bit. Yeah, yeah. I'd like to try Zaxxon at some point.
Ooh, the next one up is your favorite game of all time, Derek.
I put this specifically so I would talk about it. January 14th, 1987, Nintendo releases Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link for the Famicom Disk System in Japan only, and I wish
You
it would have
blew
stayed there.
it!
The game would go on unreleased in America for nearly 2 years afterwards, and we are
And
all worse off for it.
should have remained unreleased in America. I know there's a lot of people out there that like that game, and I'm sure it has its merits. Here's the thing: if I'd have played that before I played the original Legend of Zelda, I may like it or like it better than the original Legend of Zelda. But it was like, and I commend Nintendo for trying to do something different. Because that was kind of what they did at the time. Super Mario Brothers 2 was way different than Super Mario Brothers 1. Um, Zelda 2 was way different than the original Legend of Zelda, but I don't know. There's just something about that top-down, perspective that just made Zelda in that era. Like, the original Legend of Zelda, Adventure of Link, or not Adventure of Link, but A Link to the Past. Like that is Zelda to me. I don't. It just doesn't work on a 2D like side-scrolling platformer type of game. It just doesn't work.
Well, and that's why I loved playing, the remastered Link's Awakening when it came out. Because as much as I love Breath of the Wild, I loved going back to that traditional top-down, explore
Yeah.
dungeons, find your items formula of Zelda. And I hope that the Breath of the Wild sequel finds a way to combine the open worldness of Breath of the Wild with the dungeons of Zelda Past.
Did you
Which
see?
if I
Someone actually tweeted out a picture the other day. They made Breath of the Wild, but made it look like Link to the Past, and it looked like a screenshot, and it
No.
was him looking off the plateau, and you could see like all of Hyrule like over the
Oh, I have
ledge.
seen that. Yes.
That was so cool looking. Like I would
Yeah.
play a Link to the Past version of Breath of the Wild. Like I would totally play that.
Oh, that'd be a day one purchase
Oh yeah,
in a heartbeat.
no doubt.
If I remember right, Adventure of Link, I believe, is on the NES Classic when it was released. I think they put Zelda 1 and 2 on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, because I remember my favorite memory of that was just passing by it to
Yeah.
pick another game instead.
Well, I actually have the original NES cartridge of Adventure of Link, and I really did give it the old like college try to like go
Yeah.
back and be like, maybe it's a good game, maybe I'll like it. Nope, I didn't. I still hate it.
Yeah, a little bit of it's unfair, but
It deserves it.
it's a part of Zelda lore. I
Yeah.
will say that, but not all Zelda games are great.
They can't all be Link to the Past.
Yeah, it's true.
On January 2nd of 1988, Electronic Arts releases Wasteland. And Wasteland is a science fiction open world role playing game developed by Interplay and published by Electronic Arts. It's a futuristic post-apocalyptic America destroyed by a nuclear holocaust generations before. I like this artwork. That looks
Oh, I do
cool.
too. The crazy thing is, Wasteland 2 came out in 2014,
Really?
so many years later, and then
Wow.
Wasteland 3 is actually planned to be released this year.
Doesn't this look like the cover art to like a 1990s like death metal band? Wasteland.
Roar! Yeah. That or an early 2000s horror film.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of what's that movie? Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, very much so. And the screenshot looks creepy too. What is that thing called? A drool?
Yeah.
Ew. It's all like looks like a alien without skin. It's weird.
That's nasty.
That's nasty.
All right. In 1995, Tamsoft / SCEA releases Battle Arena Toshinden for the PS1, one of the first fully 3D fighting games.
I played this a bit back in the day.
I recognize the cover of that.
Yeah.
Never played it, but I'm sure I saw that in many a gaming store back in the day.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine had this game. We played it a good bit on his PlayStation.
I haven't played a good fighting game in a while.
Yeah, I know. I want to play one too. Because Comic Zone kind of got me in the mood for it.
Yeah, I can definitely see why. Because I thought about, I don't know if I should save Killer Instinct for October or if I should just review it for the heck of it. Because I've been wanting to play that game like off and on for the last several months.
Just go for it. We'll find some good
Yeah.
horror stuff for
Yeah.
October.
Yeah, I think I will do that. It probably won't be my next review, but it'll be one soon.
Let's see. And for our penultimate, we have January 29th, 1996. Duke Nukem 3D is released for MS-DOS.
Duke Nukem.
Ah, yes, Duke Nukem. I love playing me
That
some Duke Nukem back in the day.
that cover art is so great.
Yeah.
We need this to be made into a movie, and we need John Cena to play Duke Nukem.
Oh, dude. I would so watch that.
Oh, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Good call.
Well, you said that a while back, and
Did I?
I'm just recalling that. Yeah,
Oh, wow. I don't remember saying that, but yeah, I would watch that.
I mean he's got the perfect look for it. Just
Yeah, he
have him
does.
go back to his old military haircut and just do it.
Why has this not been done? It seems like that would
I,
have been done years ago.
you would think, but you'd think. Well, I don't know. Doom
Yeah, true.
might have hurt that a little
Plus, I
bit
don't think
because
the
that.
misogynistic Duke Nukem would go over very well in
Oh
our
my
current
God,
society.
no. But the thing is, you got to take that stuff for what it is. It's lighthearted.
I
Like
know.
it's not meant to have an alt. And I know that not everyone thinks that, but it's not like trying to prove a point or
Yeah,
saying that men are better than women. It's lighthearted comedy.
yeah. You're preaching to the choir here, man.
Yeah. All right, so this last one I threw in just for you. On January 31st, 1997,
Blech.
Square releases Final Fantasy VII for PS1, and we've been waiting for the remake almost as long.
No, I haven't. uh,
I'm feeling really cynical
Our good buddy
today.
Nate retweeted something the other day from one of our other retro gaming buddies on Twitter, and he was streaming. I think it was Final Fantasy VII. He was like, "Go over and check out such and such streaming Final Fantasy VII right now." And I put up the GIF of Captain America where he's like, "Nope, don't think I will."
I should send him that video that I shot. I think it was last year of me at the trading post picking up the Final Fantasy game and then putting it back on the shelf.
That was a good one. You need to make a
Uh,
GIF out of that.
I should. I really should. I mean,
Yeah.
this is widely regarded as, I believe, the best Final Fantasy game ever made, or at least one of the most known. And I know the remake has been, in the works for a long, long, long time.
Well, I had a roommate at the time who had this for his PlayStation 1, and I remember trying to play it, and I think I got through about 15 minutes of it, and I was just like, meh. I had no clue what was going on. I had no interest in what was going on. I was just like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, I can remember my uncle playing it when I was younger, but it never held my interest.
Yeah.
Like I can remember him doing it, but as far as specifics, I could tell you nothing.
Yeah. Meh.
Uh,
Before we go into
love it.
our review for tonight, Derek, you want to give our patrons some shout outs?
Absolutely. As always, we like to shout out our wonderful Patreon subscribers who keep the lights on for us. And this week, we like to give a shout out to AxeBlade07, Daniel Salmon, and John Jekyll. Thank you guys so much. And if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon, you can head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro.
Yes. I apologize for that being a little loud.
No, it's good stuff.
That recorded really loud. Man, the music for this game was so good. I wish I could get my hand. Actually, some of the original Genesis cartridges for this actually came with a CD of the game soundtrack of the band that wrote the songs for the game. But from what I understand, it's very hard to find.
Remember when video game soundtracks were like physical
Mm-hmm.
CDs were a delicacy.
Yeah, I
They
love
were
that.
so hard to find.
So good. But Comic Zone, it's a 1995 beat 'em up video game developed and published by Sega for the Sega Genesis. An unusual feature of the game is that it is set within the panels of a comic book, with dialogue rendered within talk bubbles and sprites and backgrounds possessing the bright colors and dynamic drawing style favored by superhero comics. Now, it was used sort of, and there was an original Batman game called the Batman the Cape Crusader in 1988, which came out for it was an Ocean Software game, and it was for computer. I don't think that one ever actually came out on a console, but I remember that game being out, and I think it was for Commodore 64, the Amiga, a couple other computers at the time, and I really wanted to play that game, but I never got around to playing that. I would like to get to it one of these days because I heard it's actually a really good game to go back and play. But this game, I actually did a watched a YouTube video on the making of Comic Zone, and it's pretty cool because the guy that let's see, what was his name, Peter Morawick, or however you pronounce that. He had the idea for this game like back in the 80s, I think. And he actually did a demo of the game that he animated on for the Amiga. And he went to the team that developed the Sonic team, and went to them with it, and they greenlit it right there on the spot because of the demo. Actually, in this video I watched on YouTube, they had some of the demo on there, and it looked really cool. And it was called Joe Pencil Trapped in the Comic Zone. And but of course, they were still working on all the Sonic stuff, so it got kind of pushed on the back burner until things started getting developed around 93 or 94, and then it came out in 95. It was one of the I think one of the last games that Sega produced for the Genesis, because they had already released the Saturn by this time. So, but the thing is like playing this game, like I had never played this game before. I was always kind of interested in playing it, and never seen any kind of video of it or anything like that. Always just kind of remember the the print advertisement for it, and they would always show like a screenshot or whatever. Never got to play it, but man, once I dove into it when I first got the Sega Genesis Mini, it like completely just like, I don't know, it was like so cool. Like it still holds up. Like the way this game looks, the way it plays, the animation of the characters, the music, the sound effects. Like there's not much to not like about this game. Of course, it was made for the 6-button Sega controller, and of course you don't get that with the Sega Genesis Mini. You've only got the 3-button controller, so it's a little unwieldy sometimes, like trying to use your some of your extra items that you can pick up throughout the game. Like you can pick up like bombs and health drinks. You have this pet rat that gets caught in the comic with you. And let me go inside a little bit of the plot. Sketch Turner, a starving artist and freelance rock musician living in New York City, is working on his newest comic book named The Comic Zone. Comic Zone is the story of the New World Empire's attempt to defend Earth from an invasion of alien renegades, with inspiration coming from Sketch's oddly vivid dreams and nightmares. One night while Sketch is working on Comic Zone during a thunderstorm, a lightning bolt strikes a panel of his comic. In this instant, the main villain of Comic Zone, a powerful mutant named Mortis, manages to escape the comic book's pages, desiring to kill Sketch so he can become flesh and blood and take over the real world, because, that always happens. I hate when that happens. Because he does not possess any power in reality, Mortis sends Sketch into the world of his own comic, freely drawing in enemies attempting to kill him. Which kind of reminded me of, you remember that Bugs Bunny cartoon, or it was actually a Daffy Duck cartoon, and he kept like the the animator actually kept like you kept seeing like the brush and stuff coming in and like putting
Yeah.
them in different situations, and then it turns out to be Bugs Bunny. Kind of reminds me
Yeah.
of that. So it's actually really cool the way this game is set up. Like I said, it's a beat 'em up, kind of side scrolling. I wouldn't necessarily say platformer. There's a little bit of platforming in it, which kind of can suck sometimes because that was a lot of the way I died in this game was trying to jump from one level to another, and there would be like a bottomless pit all of a sudden and you instantly die. And that's another thing about this game that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. It was this game is punishing and unforgiving. Like you get one life, one health bar, and like you get one continue, I think. Yeah, one continue throughout the game. So
Jeez.
that's it. Other than trying to refill your health bar. And then there's some cheap shit in there where like you have to like, like take like beat up a box or something to like get out of the way of something, or like beat up like a big rock or something to get out of your way, and it takes off your health by beating up like inanimate objects. Like why? That's so stupid.
Why not?
I don't know. But I did find, and I know this is a cheat, but I wanted to finish the game. So, and I knew that I'm not good enough at video games to be able to play the game normally. So I went to Google and I found an invincibility cheat to do in the game. And I did that after failing miserably to get past the second level for about an hour. Just going back, going through the same shit, going back, dying, going back. I finally looked up the invincibility and I was doing much better. Like I was actually experiencing the game without worrying about dying. Of course, I did fall off a couple of ledges a few times, which sucked because then you have to go back to the beginning of the level. But then I get to, after about 2.5, 3 hours of playing the game, I get to level 5, and there's only 6 levels to the game. It's a relatively short game. Get to level 5, and I am over this chasm where there's lava, but there's another ledge way on the other side, and I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. I thought I would try to jump up because there's different places in the game where you can jump up and grab like a pipe or something, and you can kind of shimmy like with your hands across the screen. Okay, there was nothing to hang on to. And then all of a sudden, an arrow starts to point down, telling you that you to go down to go to the next panel. So I was like, well, maybe I need to jump into the lava. So I did that. And all of a sudden, I got stuck in the jump position, the animation for jumping. And I hit the lava and then like slid across the screen in that same position, and then jammed myself into the rocky ledge on the other side and couldn't move. I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there hitting all the buttons. I hit a weird glitch in the game, and couldn't do anything. So I was like, you know what? I'm done because I've been playing for almost 3 hours and my thumb is hamburger at this point. So I think getting to level 5 is good enough to give a review of the game because I was
I would
not
be
going to go
crazy.
back through all that again.
They should have released a Game Genie mini.
Ah, they should have. That would have been
That would
awesome.
have been great. I did want to say real quick what drew me to this game, and I haven't had a chance to actually play it, but I have watched some gameplay of it. The look and style of this game is so unique for that time. The fact that you're actually like physically in a comic book, this game would have taken up so much of my time
Oh, yeah.
had I owned a Genesis instead of a Nintendo.
And that was the thing. Like playing this, I was just like, I've never seen another game that did this, or even to now has done it like this. And this game pretty much did it and perfected it.
Yeah.
Like you're actually playing a comic book. And I got to thinking, I was like, man, there were so many shitty superhero games back then. Like some of them we've even played on the show here. Like I played Superman, or what was it, the Doomsday, Superman versus Doomsday, and what else have we played? Like
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. Like, Batman Returns was a decent game. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But why did they not do this style of game for like Spider-Man or Superman or Batman? Like this would be the perfect, like after this game came out, like they should have seen like, oh, we could do a Batman game this way or a Superman game this way. Like I just don't understand why it was never done again. Like I don't even know why there wasn't a sequel to this game.
It makes me think of the Ultimate Spider-Man game for I believe it was GameCube that had similar art style, but not to the degree of Comic Zone. Where, and I think it's because Spider-Man was 3D as opposed to 2D, which is what Comic Zone is. But it has the same art style, but it doesn't have the same feel that Comic Zone does. And I think the 2D aspect actually gives it an advantage because you actually move from panel to panel.
Yeah. I
But
don't know.
this game, it looks like a lot of fun, and it looks like something that would be right up my alley. So
Yeah. And it is
I'm excited to try it out.
it is a lot of fun. I mean, if I were you, I would go through it the first couple playthroughs like regularly so you can kind of get a feel for, how difficult the game actually is. Because if you try to play this game without that invincibility cheat, you've got a hard learning curve to learn like there, because that's the thing, there are so many different enemy types in this game. Each level is different. Like there's a different aesthetic to each level. There's different enemy types. Each level has different and then there's kind of like these minions that you fight. There's like mini bosses that you can fight. There's this big arena you go in where you fight like 3 or 4 mini bosses, like one after another. And trying to do that on one health bar and one life, you got to be like hardcore to want to play the game that way. Playing it with the invincibility code is honestly at my age, that's a little more enjoyable to be able to play the game without worrying about dying every 5 seconds.
No, I totally get that. The cool thing is this game's actually been re-released several times.
Yeah, a lot. It's been re-released a lot.
Yeah, it was hidden within the Japanese version of the Sonic Mega Collection, which I still currently own for the GameCube. Let's see, it was part of the Sega Genesis collection for PS2 and PlayStation Portable. In 2007, it was released for the Wii's Virtual Console, Xbox Live Arcade in 2009, appeared in Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection for Xbox 360 and PS3, and then was put on Steam in 2010,
So
among other things.
there is nowhere you can't get this game. It was also made available for download on iOS and Android as part of the Sega Forever Retro Game Collection. So if you want to play this game, there's 100 different ways to play it. I mean, it's not like this is an obscure game. And it's definitely, it's one of those games like made the Sega Genesis Mini worth the purchase in my mind. Like this was one of the first games I played on it. I enjoyed it, but I really enjoyed it once I put in that invincibility code and I could actually get through the game and see it. Like just the backgrounds themselves, like you could sit there and just pause the game and just look in the backgrounds and look at the detail that was put in this game. It's nuts.
And that style works so well with that era because it still holds up. This game came out in what, 95?
Yeah. Oh,
so that's
man.
25 years later.
Just the color palette alone. I mean, it's bright. The music is just like in your face, and like the combat is fast, and different combos that you can do, and just everything about the game is just good, and it holds up. And I would have preferred to have 2 or 3 lives and be able to get like extra lives throughout the game. Maybe some continues, maybe at least 3 continues instead of
Yeah.
just one. But because, like I said, trying to get through this entire game on 1 health bar is hard freaking core, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that withstanding, I'm still very much looking forward to playing it just because of, what you've said about it, what I watched on YouTube and what I've read about it. It seems like so much fun.
Yeah, and another cool thing about the game is as you're going through it, there's when you're ready to go to the next panel, like an arrow will start flashing for where you need to go, and then he'll jump, grab onto the panel and jump into the next panel. But each time you go back through the stage, like if you die or whatever, some of the panels you can take a different route to get wherever you're going. So there's different panels that you can go through. So you don't have to
Oh, that's
keep
cool.
playing the same thing over and over. I think that's probably why they did that, because they know you're going to be dying a lot and going through these levels a lot, and you don't have to go through the same route the same way every time, which I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's actually really clever.
Yeah. But
Very cool.
I highly recommend this game if you haven't played it. I would recommend if you could get the 6-button controller to use. I'm pretty sure you can get a USB 6-button controller to use for the Sega Genesis Mini. If you can, I would recommend that because from what I hear, it's much easier to play that way with the 6-button controller because you can do more button mapping with it. And
Hmm.
but just playing it with the 3-button controller is still fun. So that makes the Sega Genesis Mini worth it. And actually, right now, I think you can pick up the Genesis Mini. I think it price dropped to $45 now,
Wow.
so you can pick it up for $45, which shoot is completely worth it if you haven't picked one up yet.
Oh, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
I had a lot of fun playing this game, and I'm going to continue to play this game. So it's one of those games that just I never got to play it back in the day. I don't have any nostalgia for it, but it makes me feel like I'm back in that era when I play it. Like I can picture myself, on a Friday night after renting this and just like playing all night long on the weekend. Like it just has
Yeah.
that feeling to it. And for that alone to make me feel like I'm 17 years old again, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And like I said, I could have finished this game if I wouldn't have hit that weird glitch.
Oh, you'll get a chance to go back and complete it.
Yeah, I'm going to go back. I wish I would have taken video of it so I could prove like something weird happened and I don't know what.
That would have made a great Twitter video.
Yeah, I should have videoed it. I didn't even think about it. I was kind of aggravated because I had been playing for like 3 hours and my fingers were starting to hurt, like getting Nintendo thumb at that
Yeah.
point. And all
Well,
I
it's one of
wanted to
those.
do was just finish the damn game. I
It's
hit
one
a
of those
glitch.
things that after the fact you're like, man, that would have made a great video.
Yeah, 'cause I was just like, oh, come on, man. I was so close. Had one level to go. Like maybe another 10 minutes left to play.
No, that's fantastic, and that's a really really high score, and I wasn't expecting that. But no, I'm very much looking forward to
Dude,
playing it.
whenever you play it, you're going to ask yourself the same question. Like, why did they not do an actual comic book character this way in this type of gameplay?
Yeah,
Because it's a great game. I mean, it's awesome. I wish I'd have played it back then.
yeah, I've had quite a few of those. Like as we've been doing reviews for the show, games that I didn't play growing up. I'm like, man, I would have loved this game.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those games. This is, I think one of the shining jewels of the 16-bit era. Like I hold this game up there with like Final Fight and F-Zero. Like if this would have been on the Super Nintendo, this would have been
Oh
a
man.
purchase. Like I would have owned this game.
I would probably say that I would have done the same.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna keep the Genesis trend going for
Awesome.
next week. I think I'm gonna review Toe Jam and Earl.
Awesome. I've been wanting to play that. I played it a little bit with Wally a couple of years ago, or not a couple of years, about a year or so ago, when he came on to review. What was the name of that game? He did it for the one of the Halloween episodes, I think. It was a Genesis game. It was Decap Attack. Yeah, it was Decap Attack. And
Yeah.
me and him were playing Decap Attack together on the Genesis collection he had for the PS4, I think. And they had Toe Jam and Earl on it. And we were playing it for a bit, trying to figure that damn game out.
Well, I'll have fun with that this weekend.
Oh yeah. But that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Anything else you want to throw out there before we leave this evening?
No, just as always, be sure to check out the Derek Diamond Experience podcast. New episodes come out every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. For those who haven't listened, it's a combination of a movie review plus an interview with someone who works in the film industry, whether it's a director, actor. So it's a combination of entertainment slash education when it comes to film and television. So you can follow the show on social media as well, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at D Diamond Podcast.
Yeah, and if you're in the Biloxi area this Saturday, what is today, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th? On Saturday the 24th, if you're in the Biloxi area, head over to the Wayward Kraken Saturday evening at 6 p.m. for the Touch Biloxi Birthday Extravaganza. There's going to be comedy, musicians, and Lazy Magnolia Brewing is going to be doing some stuff there that night.
Nice.
So if you're into local microbrewery stuff, head on out and have some beer with us.
They make a great pecan flavored beer.
Yes, they do. That and the Jefferson Stout's really good too.
Yes.
Great. You should try it. It's really good.
Yes.
But that's all I got for this week. So let me go ahead and play our music here. If you would like to email us, you can email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. We are at nerdcaveretro.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro. We're individually at jfunktastic and at Derek_Diamond. And we can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro. Also on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro, where you can throw us $1 a month. And if we hit that $50 level, we will do those extra episodes every month that we keep promising you guys of the extra episodes that we do, where we do like commentary tracks and things of that nature, and we know you like those, so get us back up to that $50 level. And if you can't do that, leave us a review wherever fine podcasts are sold. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
This is the way.
I have spoken.
Fantastic. That was a good show.
That was one of the best shows we've done in a while.
I know. I like doing that at the end where he says, I have spoken, and then Jamie Lee Curtis screaming. I don't know why I like doing that so much.
It gets me every time.
I know. Oh, man, that was a great show. You should really go play Comic Zone if you haven't yet. It's crazy good.
I'm going to do it this weekend for sure, because like I said, I've got nothing going on, so my plan is to just not leave my house unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah.
I might even see if I can, because I haven't had a day off, and my supervisor's been sick all week, so I've been having to do like twice the work.
Ugh.
So I might see if Friday, because we have an event Friday morning, I might see if after that I'll just be like, hey, I'm just going to go home.
Hell yeah. I'm going to be chilling out this weekend other than the Touch Biloxi thing, because I need some time to just do nothing. That's what I want to do.
Well, and the thing is, I've also been training for a 15K.
Oh,
This next Saturday, so I've been like mentally and physically exhausted.
Dude, I gotta get back to the gym, man. So,
Well, I can't remember if I told you, but right after Thanksgiving, I started the keto diet,
oh yeah?
and it's actually helped out a lot. That and then doing the running and the DDP yoga, I'm finally down to under 160.
Oh wow. I want to do the DDP yoga too.
Oh, it's great. It hurts like a motherfucker
If
in the very beginning, but dude, if I hope he does a yoga workshop because I will do that in a heartbeat.
if Little Debbie snack cakes and pizza count as keto diet, then I've been hitting it hard. Oh
Oh
man. Well,
man.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop this stream now. So everybody who watched on Twitch, thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.